I'm brand new to this game, but it already sounds like you've made an enemy of half your fucking village.
I pissed them off.
Thank you for your attention.
They probably see me as competition because I'm the only other large dynasty that is currently running for office in this town, and they kind of want a monopoly here. What is their business? These people. What is this family? Feed Big. And their crest. They've got this like horrible fucking yellow-green puke color. Village Reeve, great. So they're the fucking judge of this city. Righteous, rich. Yeah, they're richer than me, I think. Oh yeah, they got like double the assets that I own. I think they're based in... What businesses do they own? I think they might be a craftsman family. Are they? This is them? They're a scholar family. Because they have a pawnbroker in town. Oh, do they own the church? Because that would explain a lot. They own the church, that's it. They've been talking shit about me in the church, and everyone else goes to the same church, so they don't like me as much. That's really hard to deal with.
You gotta watch out for that ecclesiastical gossip.
Yeah, they can really fuck you up. Okay, apply for office for... Oh no, I gotta apply for guild representative again, because...
settlement is developed.
The head torturer is directly in their family, so that would be even harder to get the position for, because they're all going to vote for themselves and, like, bribe people and make sure that I'm out, and they're richer than I am, so playing the bribe game likely isn't going to win them over for me. So what I can do is my wife's business, she runs a church over in Germany. She has a Catholic church over in Germany, and I can, if I upgrade it more, I can get some letters to Rome.
For honor's sake.
And with the letters to Rome, I can make the guy who I'm running against look like garbage in the eyes of every Catholic. Won't work on the Protestants, and I don't know how many of them are here. But let me check actually. What's the mayor? The mayor's Catholic. Good. The mayor's Catholic, so that's my favorite. Also, the city just got higher rights. It's now officially a city instead of a town. So we now actually have new ranks, which means there are openings for the guildmaster and jailer. Can I reapply now? Because we just got these new positions right after I applied. Let me check. I cannot, because I still count as for the other one. Okay, a glitch may occur. This game is kind of janky. It's great, though. I love it.
I mean, this is fascinating. This is sort of like a grand strategy, but on a more micro level, I guess, as in sort of like a village instead of the planet.
It's weird. It's called the Guild 2 Renaissance. That is the expansion is Renaissance, and it's a standalone expansion that includes every other thing in the game, so it's the only one you need. Routinely goes on sale for like $2. Really good game.
Shit.
Buggy as shit, but when it traded hands over to Nordic Games, which is the company doing the third game of the series, they're currently making it. They were also handed the rights to this game, which was not made by them, and they actually started patching it despite it being like 6 years old. They went back on this shitty architecture, horrible engine old game and started patching it just because they could, because Nordic Games is awesome. and it's still glitchy as fuck, but it's really fun. It's got multiplayer and everything. A little bit janky to get it working, but we've gotten it working before.
Well, that's no problem. If it's a good game, I'm always willing to put the work and actually get it functioning, but damn.
I mean, I still fucking play Warlords Battlecry 3, which is debatably not even a good game with its balance issues. It doesn't support widescreen. It's on a fucking engine from, I think, 1996, despite being a 2004 game. It just hit Steam 2 weeks ago, but I've been playing it for years because of Good Old Games. Good Old Games released it 7 years ago.
Oh man, I love GOG.
So good. They even implement the fan patches for the game. It's great. They even have the game working on Windows 10. Which I plan to upgrade to on the last day when it's free.
Oh, you haven't hit Windows 10 yet?
Nope, I'm rejecting it until the last day that it's free because I use so much weird old software and different drivers for my job and stuff that, like, I want to give the developers as much time as possible to make drivers for Windows 10 to break the least amount of things as possible before jumping up, because last thing I want to have happen is I jump up and I've got a stream later that day and I go up to Windows 10 and then I find out that, like, there are no drivers with my soundboard for it, so my fucking $1,000 audio setup just doesn't work. Like, that would be horrible.
Holy yeah, no, I can imagine that.
Yeah, that would be awful. And that's my job. Like, that is how I make my money. All of my money, it is my career, is talking into a microphone. Will you do a series on the Guild 1? I have had the Guild 1 for like 2 years and never played it. I need to get around to it at some point, because I've heard it's quite different, and I want to know if it's any good. So, for anyone just tuning in now, basically, this game is a business sim mixed with like an intrigue thing. Like, it's kind of like a more micro scale, what do you call it? Crusader Kings 2, in that there's all this intrigue between the different dynasties and families who can hold positions of power. But it has business sim in it, where you have all these different businesses, and you have RPG-like stats you up. You have all different actions. It has Sims-style stuff where you can go to a bar and sit down and get drunk with people and stuff. It has combat. You can go through different, you can have different rankings in the city, as well as different rankings, like, socially and politically. Like, you can pay a lot of money and become a nobleman one day with a big fancy house where you hold feasts. You can fight people in the streets. You can challenge people to duels. You can do all kinds of crazy fun shit. It is just janky as fuck.
Well, you sold me. Holy shit! It's in my car
really
right
good.
now.
Big E wins. What did Big E win? I love Big E. Sorry, it's a Raw update. Again, I have not missed a weekly episode of Raw in like a year, because I used to watch it every week for the Heroes Wrestling podcast until we stopped doing Raw because they got so fed up with it. I still maintain that they never would have gotten fed up with it if I was still on every week, but with my living condition, I haven't been on it very much in the last 10 months. But I am told by many people I am very much missed on the podcast. Also, some lady just died in front of me. Oh no, never mind, she just passed it drunk. I was gonna say, guards, that wasn't me. Don't arrest me. She didn't die because of my fortune telling. He beat Mark Henry? Jesus, how'd he beat Mark Henry? Like, was he able to lift him for the big ending? Do you watch any wrestling?
No, this is all
You need to
Greek
watch
me,
wrestling.
But like, I have a couple of friends who are very into wrestling, and just hearing them talk about it so passionately is just, I get a kick out of it.
Have you ever given modern wrestling a chance? I'll put it that way, because most kids watched a little bit growing up, like a bit in passing at least.
When I was a
but
kid,
modern wrestling is very different.
When I was a kid, my friend Brett, he had WWE like 98 or whatever on the N64, and we played the hell out of that. Sting was my favorite. I think he's WWE.
No, he's WWE now, but that only happened like last year. He was WCW.
Okay, then that's what it was. He was a dude with the white face paint and all that kind of shit.
Yeah, white face paint. Like, I think in that game his hair might have been black, but it was actually brown. He had like the bat when he came out to the ring.
Mm-hmm.
You probably played WCW versus NWO Revenge, which was a very good Aki Corporation N64 game. Same company went on to make the WWE games, which then would be WWF. A lot of people say that the best wrestling game ever is WWF No Mercy, which was made by the same company a few years later and really refined the game. Like, the weapons were a lot better, where they didn't phase through the floor when they were dropped. You could grab them from the crowd.
That'd be a problem.
Way more wrestlers, game modes, all over. Like, it had the wrestlers' themes and stuff. Really fun. Just, like, it's one of those games that's really hard to master, but you can, like, pick up and play with your friends and button mash your way through it if you want to. It's just a fun game. Wrestling games in general are really fun.
The funniest thing was, the only reason Sting was my favorite character is because, well, he looked pretty neat. I appreciated that, but it was his theme that I absolutely loved. So I was like, yeah, I'm sticking with this guy, yeah.
I think his theme in the video game wasn't even his real theme.
It wasn't.
I'm pretty
So
sure.
when I actually
I'm pretty
watched
sure
it,
that
it
game
came
didn't
out,
have.
It was,
yeah, the game didn't have any real themes.
No, it had like some pre-recorded snippets of like, it was one person's theme, but they had cut it up and repurposed it for other people.
Yep. The greatest thing with that is in his last, like, the last month or two before that company went out of business, because WCW was the drizzling shits by 1998. It was so fucking bad. It was amazing. There was once a storyline where they needed to write Ric Flair, an old legendary wrestler. They needed to write him off TV for 4 months because he was gonna be busy with stuff. So they had to write him off TV. So the way they had it is by having legendary wrestler Bret the Hitman Hart bury him alive in the Nevada desert with a shovel.
Oh, I know these things.
They never talked about it for 4 months until he just showed up back on TV, and they never brought it up again. Never resolved.
Holy
that storyline
shit.
was never. He just came back. I guess he dug his way out because he's Ric fucking Flair.
The world of wrestling is fucking brutal, man.
I can tell you so many WCW stories of just insane bullshit storylines they had in their dying years. Like, they've had every fucking insane thing you can think of. But I'm gonna give you a sales pitch on modern wrestling because right now is when WWE is generally considered to be one of its lowest points ever in terms of ratings. Despite it having a lot of great things on it, it's still making a lot of missteps. Yet at the same time, it's considered a golden age, kind of a resurfacing golden age for the indie scene around the world, where all of a sudden it's never been more accessible to watch even the smallest of wrestling shows from around the world that would never get a TV deal for their viewership, yet put on amazing fucking wrestling. You can now find wrestling of any style that you like. Do you like ones that portray it like it's absolutely 100% real? You can find those, and they do it like shoot style, where it's all like really serious grappling, treat it like an actual profession, and make it look really real. You can find ones that do comedy, like DDT wrestling in Japan is almost all comedy shit.
Of course, Japan. No,
Japan,
sorry, but of course,
Japan also has New Japan Pro Wrestling, which is considered like the most honored wrestling in the world. Like, there's no place in the world where you can watch a wrestling show and see more respect than New Japan Pro Wrestling, where everyone beats the fuck out of each other in their matches. Like, everyone comes out of those matches with welts from all the kicks and stuff. They put on a great show for the crowd every night, doing all the insane bullshit that could almost kill them, all their backflips, all their landing on their necks from German suplexes. And most people in that company also do MMA on the side, like legit
just on
MMA.
the side.
Because in Japan, it's kind of a cultural thing of respect in pro wrestling where it's completely public that the matches are fixed. Wow, someone is trying to kill my wife.
Oh shit,
as
because
an
they heard
aside
you were
here-
talking about wrestling, and they're like, hey, he won't see this.
Yeah, when I'm talking about wrestling a lot, when I'm really focused, I tend to not look at the chat. I did see a tower exploding though. So
Was
deal
that
with
a
that
little
information
fight
what you
going
want.
on outside that building?
Yeah, that was my wife getting stabbed. Someone in Germany does not like her, but she's okay. She actually survived that. The town guard got there in time. Back to the business up here, though. Back to the more interesting thing than a stabbing in the streets of Germany. Let's get back to wrestling. In Japan, it's very public knowledge that, of course, the ending of the match is fixed, but there is a great deal of respect for the amount of training and hell they go through to get to that point where they're physically fit enough to do these things. The way that the style of wrestling that they do, in that they stiff each other, which is a wrestling word essentially for how would you say, hitting people hard essentially, not with the intention to injure, but simply with the intention to put on a good match. Like, if you ever watch wrestling, you've seen chops, when they throw their open hand into the chest, and it just smacks them really hard. You hear that big slap noise, their chest welts up. That hurts like a son of a bitch, and it makes it hard to breathe, but you're never going to get injured off that. It just hurts like a son of a bitch. So chops are popular in Japan, because it's kind of a show of toughness. You know, who can take the chops longer? It's really cool. I've seen people bleed off chops. It's pretty fucking brutal. You can welt the skin that bad. But anyway.
See, these people, like, okay, when I was a kid, just really quick, there was a lot of controversy. Whether it's real, whether it's fake. When I grew up and I started looking at it, I'm like, of course this is fake. The dude's like, he's spinning him around in the ring and he's pretending to be dazed and then he's whacking him with a table. But, like, the amount of real shit you're talking about these people go through, like, they are dedicated to their craft. And, I do sort of now have a level of respect that was not there before for these guys.
Was?
There are a lot of sayings about this in wrestling. One saying is everyone in wrestling is crazy. Either you got into wrestling because you're crazy, or being in wrestling made you crazy, and that is why these people do what they do. Another thing is that they like to say wrestling isn't fake, it's scripted, is the way they put it, which isn't even accurate because a lot of it is improv. The way you look at it is it's much more real than Breaking Bad. It's much more real than any TV show or movie you watch, but it's not a sport. It's sport. It's sports entertainment. They're going through they're doing crazy athletics, and they're hurting each other, not with the intention to injure. They work together to put on a good match. They talk to each other in the ring. When you see a dude headlock another dude, and he leans over and his hair gets in his face, it's to cover his mouth from the camera so he can say to the guy, like, bounce off the ropes, clothesline me. They're talking to each other and calling the moves in the match most of the time. They'll work out backstage sometimes specific things they want to do, like how they want to end the match and stuff. And someone backstage will say, like, hey, I want you to win tonight, do this big thing. Like, if there's going to be a low blow finisher where, like, the ref gets distracted, someone gets punched in the groin, they'll figure that out beforehand, and the referee will walk over and tell them, like, hey, you got 1 minute, wrap it up, or whatever. They communicate the whole time, but it's theater. It's physical theater. They're working together to put on as good of a show as they can.
Damn.
And they tell their stories that way. And it's really fucking impressive that you never see someone just go home. I've seen people finish matches with broken necks. That is common. Currently there are about 10 people in the WWE. Yes, like a real broken neck, not a storyline one. There are many storyline injuries, but currently like 10 people on the WWE roster are out on injury. Usually shoulder injuries, unfortunately. Right now they have a big problem with injuries, actually. But
gotta get the ratings. Gotta make it real.
There's some pretty bad ones. Tyson Kidd almost died last year. He took a muscle buster from Samoa Joe on a house show, which is like a non-televised touring show. He took a move wrong, which the dude has done 1,000 times and never fucked it up, and just sometimes a slip occurs. Guy got stacked up, landed on his neck bad, broke his neck. The first and second disc in the top of his neck shattered.
Ooh!
Not shattered, snapped. That's it. He got rushed to the ER immediately. And apparently about 90% of people who get that die on impact. He survived. And he's not going to be paralyzed. They think he's going to make a mostly full recovery. They can't guarantee he'll ever come back to pro wrestling.
Well, yeah, no, after something like that.
Sometimes a mistake happens. Oh, people have died in the ring. Mitsuharu Misawa in Japan, real Japanese legend. He died in the ring. 2009, I want to say. He took a backdrop suplex on his neck and died on impact.
Mitsuharu
Misawa.
Mitsuharu Misawa.
He, I believe the information that came out on exactly what happened basically said his brainstem was severed from his brain.
Oh, and he's a big-looking guy, too. My God.
Well, he was kind of overweight by then. He was about 56, and he wasn't in the best shape anymore, so when he got stacked up like that, his body weight just kind of kept going and his head didn't.
Oh.
He was... Because a backdrop suplex, in Japan, you notice like a lot of the guys in Japan don't have as good of a physique in the United States. They're not focusing on the show muscles in Japan. They focus on strengthening the neck and shoulder area. They focus on less show muscles, more kind of real strength stuff. Because they wrestle a very dangerous style. They need to have that muscle support to make sure that they're safe, you know?
My God.
And he didn't stay in as good a shape as a lot of old guys. Like, in Japan, like, in the United States, it's rare to see a wrestler last much past 40. That's pretty rare. In Japan, dudes who have been wrestling since they were 17 and they're now 60 will still be wrestling multiple matches a week. And they'll be good. Very good. It's astonishing what those Japanese wrestlers are capable of just by taking such good care of their bodies. The dude who invented the moonsault is still wrestling.
The moonsault!
That is the move. The moonsault is when you backflip off the top rope and land on a guy's stomach down. A move made in the That's a move made in the 1970s. He's still wrestling, like every week. If you've ever heard his name, in fact, I think he might have been in WCW versus NWO Revenge, the Great Muta.
The Great Muta.
Yeah. And for reference, Sting only has about one wrestling match a year. In fact, he's out on injury because he fucked up his neck in his previous match. he took a buckle bomb, which is when a dude lifts you up onto his shoulders and sprints at the turnbuckle, which is what you call the corner post on the inside of the ring, and threw him at the pads, like the 3 pads.
Oh.
If you've never set up a ring before and you wonder, like, you always see, especially back in the old, like, Hulk Hogan days, you'd always see the thing where a dude will grab their head and throw it into the top padding. It is clearly padded. So you always wonder, like, why did they do that? It looks like shit. If you've ever built a ring, you know what that padding covers is a giant steel hook. The steel hook is what attaches the rope to the turnbuckle to keep the post going, because the ropes that go around the 3 ropes, it's not individual pieces of rope, it's just 3 ropes tied in a square around the posts. So it needs a hook to attach that, so the padding is to protect you from the hook. So if you actually rammed your head into that, you could get concussed. Which is why what they do is they slap their hand down on the padding as they do it, so their head is actually hitting their thumb, not the
So they can
not the
brace
hook.
themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, same thing with a headbutt. When you see the dudes headbutt each other, the old school headbutts that looked really good, usually they grab by the head and pull their head in. They're actually headbutting their own thumb, which gives you a lot of padding, actually, because they're hitting the meat of their hand.
Oh yeah, I can
instead
imagine
of
that.
head-to-head. Yeah, because you actually collided head-to-head like that, you'd both be split open bad. Which I have seen. I have seen Chris Benoit shoot headbutt William Regal in a match, and they were both busted open bad. You know it's a bad cut when they don't bleed much. Because in wrestling, when you see the face covered in blood, it's because they took a razor blade and they slit their forehead a little along the crease where it bleeds a lot and mixes with the sweat.
Are you shitting
When you get a
me?
real cut, it closes up real quick when you get a real cut. So when it's a little bit of blood, that's how you know it was an accident.
Oh no, but they actually will take a razor blade to their own skull.
It's,
Are you serious?
You call it blading or juicing. Yeah.
Juicy. My God.
Usually there are a few ways you hide the razor blade. Some wrestlers will keep it in the wrist tape and take it out when they need it. Sometimes, if they don't have wrist tape, the referee will pass it to them while they're down and the ref's pretending to check on them. Some people keep it in their boot. Stuff like that. They find ways to hide the razor and you slit along the forehead.
Holy shit, this is
along
like
the crease of the
prison
brow.
rules. Where do you hide the shank? When are you going to take it out? How are you going to take it out?
Well,
Except you're doing it to yourself instead of the other guy. But still.
and once again, some people are fucking nuts. The Iron Sheik would keep his razor blade under his tongue during matches.
Whoa, there's so much you can go wrong with that.
Let us simply
He was fucking hardcore, the Iron Sheik.
I know the Iron. I remember seeing a drunken rant by the Iron Sheik. That was my favorite.
The break your back, make you humble. Everyone loves that one. Fuck your ass, break your back, make you humble. Iron Sheik's awesome.
Wrestling, like, there's so many golden moments I know from like just a peripheral point of view, but oh my god, and they have such
It's great too
names.
because Iron Sheik is the nicest guy in the world in real life. Because he always played the horrible, evil Iranian villain back in the day.
I hereby declare today's session
But like in real life, yeah, he was born in Iran, but like he was an Olympic wrestling coach that moved over to the States and got into pro wrestling back in the day. Like he's the most American guy in the world, other than coming from Iran. Like fucking in his own time, like you have these hundreds of hours of footage of like him hanging out with his kids in his fucking his pajama pants that's the American flag and stuff. Like
Aww.
he's just the nicest guy in the world.
That's so cute. Holy shit.
Anyway, I just got the text that tells me that I don't have much time left, and I just spent the last forever rambling about wrestling, so I think what I'm actually going to do is save the stream here. I'm going to do a little outro for YouTube, and then we're just going to do a little, like, 5-10 minute wrap-up kind of thing. So let's... Let me just do a little outro for you, YouTube. So thank everybody watching over on YouTube. If you want to watch this live next time, check out the description. You'll find the Hitbox TV link where you can catch it live next time, participate in the chat. Maybe maybe Mandy will be free next time, so we'll have a chat liaison so I can pay better attention to you guys. Sorry about that, I got distracted. Hopefully we'll be able to stream at a better time of the day when it doesn't look like I'm doing some kind of fucking avant-garde thing with my lighting. Right, if you're watching this live, check out my YouTube page in the description. If you're watching this in post, check out the Hitbox page in the description. Also, I'll probably forget, but comment section on YouTube, yell at me when this goes up to link the Pocket Vox YouTube channel in the description, and I'll try and remember to do that. And yeah. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day.